if the last 2 rounds are anything to go by, they weren't quite successful at stalling out BDS too much. BDS just able to punch through whatever they tossed up at them. Is that Joe?
Remember they punched the castle?
Oh yes.
Like
okay,
3
sorry.
rounds ago.
I forgot that. No, I didn't forget that, but I was like, what joke did I make without realizing I made it?
I gave you the laugh anyway.
Thank you.
As
I appreciate it.
That's my job. BDS, 2 rounds, and as you said, 2 very effective rounds. That's the big problem right now. Outsiders, well, their defenses haven't been very foolproof. In fact, they've been losing quite a lot of water, and they're going to see if they can at least keep a handful here in the bar. It's quick breaks and pushes all the way over the top. If you're unfamiliar with the bar stage hold now, since it's sort of got changed, it is a bit of a top-down hold. You often have billiards as a back line. You can swing an extension into kitchen as well and sort of open that soft wall over that corridor between the stage, because the stage and that wall that connects is the general scene default plant spot, is tucking yourself in onto that brick wall that divides the middle of the site here. Lems is going to make sure they can claim that utility, and as I said, there's the angle that runs through into kitchen. FMX is actually leaning in to see what they've got, and they're hoping they can get somebody. But Shaiko gets Milan in the meantime. You also want to get control of construction, because that obviously watches down onto this very core part. So the pressure is going to push them further and further away, which is the work that's being done here, and the work that Smash is going to try and stop.
Smash is going to be alone up here now, trying to stop this from happening. Has the SMG-11. He has 16 bullets. It will hit on range, but it's a bit more difficult to control, especially against these assault rifles that the attack will be bringing. He needs to be careful to not get overwhelmed here. FMX looking to position himself underneath the hatch. They have opened up BDS, though, directly next to the hatch. So alternative angles are starting to be created here with players up out on the balcony as well. It's going to be very difficult. Here in the bathroom, actually, ADS there, stopping the shield from being destroyed. So Grenade will have to do the job instead. There's a small amount of damage Pasha there, but he's no longer able to play in the bedroom now.
That's it. It's a bit of time that's sort of added onto the tally here of BDS, but they know how to move behind it. Smash is going to have to play a little bit wider, a little bit less aggressive. Shaiko's been able to slip past the angle as well, and the longer he can sort of go undisturbed at this point is the longer that Smash can go undisturbed at his. There it is, a pre-fire and a spray round, and well, that's a very dangerous lean into an engagement there. The Echo drone pulls through, and Shaiko finally finds the end of it. Suffered a lot as the dance back and forth, but Smash has that response. They said he was waiting for the movement and the moment, and it came through. Brede gets Rask, though. The 4 versus 2 down towards the site. They're still eyeing up the chance to plant. I assume that stock wall is open, and FMX is blinded twice and thrice. The smoke canisters cover the idea and the action that's coming through. Brede's been able to get himself tucked in and ducked behind the table of 2 versus 3. Smash gets one more from the top. Rafal gets smashed, though, and one more. That is BDS pulling ahead.
And with that, they put themselves in that lead. It's 5-4. They find a round. They got rid of the utility. I mean, it was a very heavy upstairs hold. There was players out there in CCTV/construction. Then we had one in the bedroom who tried to go for the fight with Shaiko. Didn't quite get it in the end. And slowed at the top floor fell. And yes, Smash able to stop the first diffuser from going down, but quickly lost his life right after that because there was that man advantage on the side of BDS. And Outsiders, they rightfully will be calling their tactical timeout right now, because it just isn't working currently. They just aren't able to put these rounds on the board that they need to put on the board, let alone kills. They're struggling on kills, not even just the rounds. I think it's just 3 now in total over these last 3 rounds. Not very impressive. Actually, it's quite problematic. And does they need to change the way that they're currently playing to stand a chance against BDS? Because otherwise this is going to be ending in a 7-4 victory. That is not what they want. After that first half that they played quite well, 4-2.
It was very well played. It was, as I said, though, answers to questions they'd been studying for. Yeah. And I think that was the most apparent thing. They knew where they needed to be. They knew when they needed to be there. And that's the tricky problem now, is it's tougher to gauge and approach because BDS are answering questions. And sure, they haven't been able to study directly because Outsiders didn't play this in regulation with their new roster over the entire first stage. But BDS have done quizzes about how to take care of defenses many times. They've, you know, they have a lot of transferable skills.
They're also a bit of a clubhouse expert themselves.
Yeah.
they like the map. They've played it many times before, so I don't think there's any defense anymore that will truly surprise them. I think they've seen it all nowadays, and we'll be able to literally bring an attack to everything. Talking about everything, it's a Ying that's currently on the board, so maybe we will see a bit of pace coming out from the side of BDS with that Ying on the board, with Rafal carrying it. Of course, hatches need to open up first. Might actually see a kitchen drop. Get some quick shots down with the Candelas and drop right after.
It could be anywhere. It could be a pressure down towards oil in the back of blue. It could be maybe just a charge round. It's rarer to see on dirt because it really isolates the way you can funnel yourself in. You want a bit of width on the other side of your Candelas rather than, well, they can just sort of spray blind towards a narrower space. Here, I guess it's down to Rafal to see what he can work out. The 2 heart breach charges is also a very good pocket gadget. They're sort of bringing that alongside the Hibana instead of doubling down on hard breach the same way that we saw Outsiders or a lot of other teams do. As soon as the hard breach gadget came in, Clubhouse was one of those big maps where we sort of said, well, this could change things. And BDS might be one of those teams.
Of course, Buck, one of those operators as well that carries it, and already very important in terms of verticality. Also puts a lot of utility in one pocket dome, so might not be the best. Well, it's good to take it, but redundancy is always good to have. And Renshiro now playing on that soft breach is starting to open up here. Soon those hatches will continue to be opened up. Flame drones are already down there, so nothing really to worry about for BDS's sakes, except for these C4s. They might just pop up at any given moment if you're walking over one of those soft floors, so they'll be definitely aware of that. That might be it. No damage done actually towards Renshiro. Stepped out just in time.
I was gonna say, I think he just had a bit of space there onto the cemented floor, so he has some of that safety here. Lems is trying to put the pressure down on towards the kitchen side there. Dropping and waiting to see if anybody is playing directly under the hatch. No, not anymore. The mute jammer that they tucked into the corner means it wasn't so easy to drone out. The first impact didn't get the connection.
That went to the roof of the kitchen.
Yeah, a little bit too wide.
A little bit too far, too high. But that means the hatch will be opened up now, and basically BDS will have everything they want, and now we'll start staging their attack. 55 seconds on that clock. 4 Candelas to go with here to try and pull off the execute. Milan is deep, I believe, inside the dirt tunnel, hoping to go for a bit of a late flank back onto the side as soon as it's fallen, and by hiding in that position, he might go overlooked. But as the first grenades come in, they're aware of where these ADSs are, and surely these Candelas will start following soon.
Now, obviously, the canister pops off, 30 seconds, and they still have a couple more, so here is where the Candelas might start to roll. One down towards the side of dirt, the drop comes through, on the backside, the grenade's through, and that off to the third box. A spray over the top, Renshiro gets a kill there towards the corridor, but the kit's gone cold. And amongst it, covered by the smoke, they're going to try and pick it up, but Milan keeps popping out of dirt and showing what he can do. Smash, he's taken care of, but Shaiko, in the meantime, is able to get a lock in. 3 versus 1. Smash is still doing bits on the far side. BDS, they overestimated how much control they had, and a single player in dirt cut that kit in half.
That's what I said. I mean, they tossed down the Candela for it, but Milan hoped he would have gone overlooked there, and indeed he did. They didn't pay attention to him enough. You could have just made a simple opening inside the dirt, you know, at least put up some pressure on him, so he needs to be worried about a potential push from the back, but as nothing came through, and it's not a matter of the fact that they didn't have any heart breach left, because it was still the gadget, the heart breach gadget on the side of Ying. One left they could have used there. Not the case. And thus 5-5 on the board. Back to the gym and bedroom we go. Now, a flawless round last time here for BDS. So massive changes need to be made on the side of Outsiders. A couple of them. Let's see what I come up with. I just hope they play more on the trade game, because honestly, last time, Pasha took a 1v1 on Red Stairs, then someone got naded inside a cache. I mean, that's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah.
A 1v1 inside a construction, just standing there in the middle of the open room. No one is there to try and even punish the person that's going for you. So it's like you were giving them free kills to some extent.
I guess the question becomes, how long do you try and hold on to this area, and how confident do you feel in the hold? Because, you know, you're dedicating a lot of resources over there. You've got the mute jammers, you've got the sort of doubling down on the shield. Are you going to see if you can put a little bit more utility there to try and hold on to it for as long as possible, or do you have it as a little bit less of a satellite hold? Do you try and, I guess, have yourself situated to maybe have another route out, another way around? You still have to keep control of construction if you want to do the direct rotate, which isn't always easy because of, well, how quick it is to do this. put the pressure onto that window and make everything uncomfortable for anybody that rotates and make anything uncertain. But also, you can't just give in to the early games.
No, you need to hold on. You need to waste as much time as you possibly can, and it's a bit of a balancing thing you need to do. Like, when are you going to take more risk? Like, how many more seconds do you want to waste before you do decide to go for it? As BDS just trying to bait out to see if there is anybody tricking there. Doesn't seem to be the case. Thus, the opening will be made. Now they can start on opening up towards the red stairs, towards Cash, and maybe find themselves in a 5-on-3 again.
That's it. You can see they've got themselves set up here, and Chiro, well, he's eyeing up the idea of putting and popping down some pressure, but BDS is just going to try and get some drone intel first. They have the ping on a single player. I'll probably assume there's one player in the top of red as well, and this grenade might be rolled just over the top. But it gets caught out. The ADS there offering some support. By the sounds of it, another one of my discs just flown up somewhere too.
Still taking some small damage though. The my disc not quite activated yet, so he will live for now, and that means that they need to rely more on these gunfights to come through. Shaika well aware of the player that is inside a rep, but they could just completely bypass him by going directly for Milan on top of that table. But that's exactly what he does. He just gets that kill, and now he knows one is inside a red. Deals a little bit of damage to Pasha too, but takes more than he dealt.
I mean, just leading in there and taking the firefight. It's a decision to be made, and Smash, he's here. He wants to offer some support, but as I said, construction becomes so deadly in this sort of situation. Everyone knows how important this round is. Whoever gets it is the only one that has a guarantee of full points. So you can see that Rask and Pasha with the rotate, they're just making sure that they can keep everybody alive. Time wasted, sure. 50 seconds and a player loose in strip might be a problem here. Do they know where Rask is? Well, now they do. And does he know there's a second one trying to close down? They need to try and put the pressure here onto either LMs quickly before Rafal shows up round on the backside. And Rask, he's looking for the fight here. The drone is coming. Pasha from underneath as well. There's the spray. There's the prey. They're hoping they're only paying attention to one. Pasha. Oh, he doesn't quite win it out, and Rafal finds Rask as well. There's the pressure that came through on the backside, and suddenly those two players underneath are gone. 20 seconds, and Smash is going to lean into the main stairs. He wants to try and catch them off a bit early. The smoke canister forces movement, and Smash finishes it off with a full stop, but it's a 1 versus 4. He is all that's left to try and stop this. Takes one, loses the other. BDS 6-5.
And they have the opportunity to fight for 3 points here to start their stage off strong against outsiders. And yes, it isn't a 7-2 victory. It isn't a 7-3, but it's still full 3 points. Those will matter. And of course, there's a top 4 that directly will qualify to the 6 major Wordle.
Is that
we don't know what it is yet.
No, it was just a word puzzle posted by R6 Esports account. You don't have to think about it. It might mean nothing.
Sorry.
It's just a fun puzzle.
I try to type in like many different things.
Just because a puzzle gets posted doesn't have to mean anything.
Esport wasn't it? So
you could just be there just thinking about fun 6-letter words. Just because it comes from the R6 Esports.
Oh.
It could be
anything.
Desach.
Desach?
You can't have the whole desert.
No,
7 letters.
I try many different things, but 6
Milos.
letters is just so limited. All right.
Oh, the only person whose 6 names is Fabian.
I've seen that tried as well, Fabian. That wasn't a word, unfortunately.
No, but it's the only 6-letter name out of all of our talent.
Yeah.
Medics is 7 letters easy.
No.
No, I just want.
I was like, what am I
gaslighting
I'm
us.
counting it. It's not the case. You could also do easy with 2 extra eyes. Yes, I was just quickly. Did I miscount? No. 3 eyes in the end. 5-6 match point. 3 points on the line here for BDS. Are they going to be able to get it? Big question. 12 points, 12 kills. I mean, Shaiko currently looking to lead in yet once more. And I said it before, like they need to go for the firefights onto Cash. And were they able to back then? Yes. Are they able to now? Well, quick dispatch there off the Evil Eye. Spots the Maestro as well, so they know one is behind the bar. Let's see if they can get some utility behind it to get rid of him.
Well, here's the Candelas, and here's a much earlier spray. There's an Ossa, there's a Bride with a kit, and there's an E1D. Oh no! Everybody's blind, but it doesn't matter if all you got to do is hold F. You can see the Echo drone stops the plant there. A huge play and a huge take. Milan finds 2 round on the backside. Smash gets 1 as well. It could have been all over, but Milan has other ideas. Lems finds 1 and amongst it. Pasha bites back, but an Echo drone and a huge flank is the difference there.
Keeps them in it, finds them at least a point, and the opportunity to fight for 2 now. And suddenly we're BDS, you know, they made some quick pace, they had a good opening, they wanted to go fast. It shows you why you need construction control. It shows you why you need to have someone there to stop anybody from using the hatch against you. And they lack that this time around, and it will show there at that moment. And now overtime on the board. BDS will start off on the defense, which hasn't been the best side so far. Only 4 rounds won over the last 12 played by both these teams together. Now, are they going to be able to change that? Are they going to be able to slightly shift that in favor of themselves, or is Outsiders going to be able to take the 2-pointer now?
Oh, it was just that moment. You saw what was happening, and a lot of other teams, they might have gone a different way, but between an Echo drone that could and a Milon that did, well, Outsiders, they stay fighting, and it's always going to be a potentially close game. I think us coming to club has been something that, as I said before, has worked in Outsiders' favor. They were very good on their attacks. They were very good at reading BDS. If they take this, suddenly it's in a very good position to go all of the way, and that is a very good position for Outsiders to find a win. Another RT for the day, and Renshiro is going to see if he can try and at least slow the instant approach. If there's anything that's been a bit risky here for Outsiders, time is definitely there.
Time is there. 2 minutes 30. Let's see how quickly they can open everything up. They need to be worried, though, about a potential roam as well. They need to make sure everything is droned out. That's exactly what they're doing right now. Some verticalities to be opened up as well, and you see those last couple of members quickly rotating back across those main staircases. So no one left to currently strike unseen like Milan was able to do in that last round. Quick, some fire being put down, claymores being set up to stop any potential flanks from coming through later on in that round when they do decide to switch their guns to a different kind of position. These 2 minutes on that clock. Those hatches they need to open up soon.
Well, he's waiting. Milan is eager. He's ready to go for it, and there it is, either side. As soon as they got the clarity that they could, they did. And Alems, is he going to use a C4 to open this up as a roam? 2 claymores, both gone. And now Rafal has an option for rotation. Just checking that it's clear, and now he can wait and strike at the right time. A rotation timed perfectly here could define the entire round as pressure's on the hatch. Rafal is at the bottom of his, heads to the top, and starts a route.
Starts to head up towards the steps. Now, he's still waiting to see whether or not he had been spotted, whether or not he had been hurt with this current flank that went through. A lot of drones on the side currently. Openings are starting to occur as well. He needs to be quick, and as Renshiro gets the very first kill, Rafal now realizes that there is some save ground to be made here in a 3v5. He can end this now. He can put them onto match point again.
Well, here it is, a rotation round on the other side. He's still got unchecked. He's just walked past one man. No, he hasn't. Turns back round, gets dropped. 4 versus 2, but still was able to make things work. A 3 versus 2, 40 seconds. Rask was able to find one of his own. The drop down and a take onto a blinded Kaid. I'm assuming he was hit by a flash just before on the corner and stuck out on the jukebox. But 30 seconds and there's a backline and there's no longer a Rask. Another flash over the top. The whirring and the burring is something only on our side, I hope, as Milan's trying to find the last 2 players with the cold kit. Well, he was trying to bait a bit of movement there, picks it back up, and is he eyeing up what route, what angle? The drone gets thrown out. It's just going to see if he can try and waste a little bit more time, but BDS, they're playing this perfectly. They know they don't have to overextend. Milan, he's going to stick it. He has no real other option. You can see BDS is both trying to close down. It's a pre-fire. It's a shotgun shell right into his core. And it's BDS getting a defense and once again putting themselves 1 round away from a win.
Sharko is willing to steal that defuse away, but in the end decided against it there. Rafal is seeing as well. He's like, I think so. We need this win. And round 14, soon to be coming underway. Potentially the last, potentially we go max OT. What we do know is that BDS is currently on that attack. And Outsiders will be on the defense. Now they've only won 2. It's either Church or Bar that they have won, and I assume they will be choosing for the first one. And yes, indeed, it will be Church and Arsenal. It's a bit more of the reliable between the 2, right? It's one of those that they are more familiar with. The Bar was a bit of a push that came through in the end. That rush down the hatch because no one was watching it.
So, lovable Benelux smiley face. Queen of Benelux, fast Dan.
Yes.
Ran the numbers. Ran the numbers. That punching through the castle thing works on every gadget.
Every gadget? That is incredible.
That's probably not intended. And I think that's the first time a lot of people... But, as we said, you know, you play on until the ref blows the whistle. So
yes.
that's something that I assume people are going to be looking into tonight.
I'm pretty sure Coppet is already, like...
Coppet's on it.
Pulling his hair out about this one.
Coppet's also running the numbers.
He's also running the numbers. He's like,
but he didn't expect to be. Thank you, Anne, by the way, for testing that. Love you.
Really appreciate it. Helps us out a little bit because we can't test it right now because we're still in the game, so we had to wait a little bit. So it's a match point, and we have the potential to go to a max OT if Outsiders do win this round. Now, there is not going to be anybody upstairs to go for a massive flank like Milan was able to pull off before. So they need to rely on their setup being proper enough to stop BDS from truly pushing in.
So, BDS, you are but one attack away, and your attacks have been sharper than your defenses. It was a bit back and forth towards the end, but at the same time, scrappiness is something that, well, it's... At first, it was entirely away from you. Then you sort of found a pace and picked yourself back up into an engagement. The fact that you're seeing three of the players sitting on some powerful KDs is testament to a team that at the opener started with a combined total of less kills than a single of the players of Outsiders that popped off in the opening 3 or 4 rounds.
Quick opening of that first floor. A minute has passed. They need to push on a bit further. Attaches, again, they need to open up quickly, and they need to make sure that this time the push is on, because what we saw the last time, the Candelas went in, they were being shut down by the player that's inside of the dirt tunnel. He went unaccounted for. They need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And does they need to make a decision quickly? Where are we going to be attacking from? Are we going for another drop? Use the Ossa, the talent shield with that, to make sure that we have ourselves a nice little nest to sit inside of. A bit of a safe space as these flashbangs come through and deal with the player inside of blue as he has been forced out. A quick Gemini will confirm that Shaiko. Look at that. Everybody stacked up on the A-bomb chassis. They don't have that blue control, but there's definitely people watching it.
There it is, you can see the kit changes hands, Alems is getting it ready. Rask is that only line here. They've tried to go quick, and there's more pressure coming through. Rask is just going to pull away because he knows that is the first herald of the grenades that come through. Shaiko gets that opener, pulls away into the smoke, looks for a second and finds it. Alems and Renshiro putting pressure onto the back of the boxes. Suddenly, things are slipping away, and suddenly they slip a little bit further with it locked down. A BDS flawless to end a fight back. It went almost all the way, but that was a lot further than I think a lot of people expected here on Club. Outsiders, unfortunately, just 1 point. BDS 2.
I mean, you saw at the early predictions, the public thought that I believe 7% of the people who voted Outsiders would win. So, I mean, they were quite close. It was only just 2 rounds away as they managed to make it to OT. But more importantly, it is going to be BDS that takes the victory here, take 2 points home. And they start their stage off strong, but it could have been just a little bit stronger.
Just a little bit, but it is the opening play day. It's time ahead of them to work on things and see what they can bring to the table. Talking of tables, well, we've got a really nice one. It's called the Analyst Desk. You'll have to wait, though. So tune in after this quick break to see what they have to say on it.
Fighting hostiles is like solving a puzzle. All the pieces are a total mess. Then you solve it as if you always knew the answer.
Welcome back, friends. It's happened that we get our overtime, a close game, but still, BDS are able to take the W. How did they accomplish that here today?
Oh, I mean, it's BDS, it's on club, it's a map where they started on the non-advantageous side. They do this a lot where they start on the non-advantageous side. They basically take it in, they take the punches in for the first 6 rounds, and then they explode. And that's exactly what happened this game. 2-4 on the defense split, they get onto the attack, a nice, happy 4-2 split into overtime, and by that point, they'd had a really good read on what Outsiders were going to do on this map. Let's bear in mind, Stage 1 Outsiders permabanned it, so there's no VOD footage, they didn't know potentially they were even going to this map. Now they knew what Outsiders were going to do, they got it done in overtime.
Yeah, I think that Outsiders tried to trick them completely, and it just didn't pay off. They tried to take BDS to a map that they didn't expect Outsiders to take them to, and that they had as a permaban last stage, as you said, Jack, and they just didn't play as good as BDS did. I think both teams had a good showing, though. 4-2 attack sides is what kind of we expect these days.
Yeah.
Both teams achieved it, and then it just comes down to the overtime. Could have gone either way, I'll be honest there. It could be either side.
The upset was definitely on the cards. It's just you've got to remember with upsets, there's always a better team that is to be upset that should win, and that's what BDS did. Is the upset was definitely there. They were pushed all the way by Outsiders. Outsiders put in a good performance. BDS just a little bit more experience, a little bit. You saw Shaiko at the end there, just dropping with the sound, getting a free K, making the big play when his team needs him to, and that's exactly what he does for this team.
But that's BDS, the team that everybody knows, versus Outsiders that have had changes over